Hello, my friends. A ruling finally came down today. That's a part two to the Google antitrust case that they lost in August of 2024. So it's been roughly a year, and we finally hear the next steps on what's going to happen. So let's go ahead and dive in. A federal judge ruled that Google must share certain kinds of data with competitors and is prohibited from entering exclusive distribution deals, orders aimed at its monopoly power in internet search, but rejected. This is a very cool thing, guys. If you're a buyer, this is beautiful music. But rejected the U.S. government's proposal to force Google to sell its popular Chrome browser. You know, a lot of people were saying they were going to have to sell YouTube. They were going to have to sell Chrome. They were going to have to get rid of GA4. They were going to have to get rid of GTM. All sorts of crazy stuff happened. So I think this is a huge win if you're a buyer. I think it's a huge win if you're into, like, if you spend a lot on ecom for your company or your business, etc. I think that's a huge win. When Google comes in and they lock into a contract with Apple for default position for the browser for 5 years. For 5 years, you can't enter that. That's nuts. And of course, they back it truck in and they give billions in, and they don't let anybody else in. So now they can actually entertain offers. They don't have to be locked into this for 5 years. That's the bad part. That's where it gets really nonsensical. The other part is this portion here. Google will have to make available to qualified competitors certain search index and user interaction data. But this is very interesting, though not the ads data. And that is music to our ears. Again, if you're a buyer, this is music to your ears, because what they're going to do is open the hood for the search index data, which is more the search console, other stuff, and the user interaction data, but though not the ads data. And that's, of course, to its qualified competitors. Now, I could already see what's going to happen now. SEMrush is going to go crazy. They're going to invent a whole dashboard on this. I can totally see it. But I love the fact it's not the ads data. And again, it's what I was talking about earlier in my other video. And I was talking about, you have AI overview, AI mode, and search. And now you can be the first result under AI overview or AI mode, or even have your link in AI overview, which is even more beautiful. What's not there is SEO. And I'm not knocking SEO. My agency, we just secured 2 contracts on SEO. I'm not knocking it, but it's evolving and it's turning into answer engine optimization. Somebody reached out to me and they were like, oh, that's what powers AI. Really? Okay. Well, I think what powers AI too also is YouTube. I think Reddit powers AI. I think there's a lot of things that power AI. The ruling requires Google to publicly disclose the material changes it makes to its ad auctions to promote greater transparency in search text ads and pricing, to prevent Google from increasing prices by secretly fine-tuning its ad auctions. Yeah, I think it's great, but the problem here is the smart bidding process. It allows to target people at the right market price, at the right time, at the right intent point where they get hit with an ad, and then hopefully that person gets clicks or engages, and then they convert. God bless them. The problem here is they're alluding that they're secretly fine-tuning their ad auctions. Now, if you're a national roofing company that spends, I don't know, $1 million, even say, let's call it what it is, $5 million a month, and you're a smaller guy, just say a roofing contractor that spends $10,000 a month, does the ad auction go into your favor if you're the bigger guy? Probably. I mean, that's just common sense. I don't think that'll change. I mean, that's the whole reason why we have Keyword Planner. That's the whole reason why we have forecasting in the Keyword Planner. That's the reason why we look at the estimated clicks and we back end the through the clicks and the conversion rate, what a cost per conversion is. And so I think that will never change. If it's secretly fine-tuning it, I think we're not surprised there. It'll be interesting how that's enforced. So I'm sure there's going to be some kind of third party that's watching the throttle in terms of on what the cost pers are at any given time. This is an interesting. Google will not be barred from making payments or offering other considerations to distribution partners for preloading placement of Google Search, Chrome, or its generative AI products. Cutting off payment from Google will almost certainly impose substantial, if not crippling, downstreams harms to distribution partners. Yeah, so they were talking about Mozilla, and 90% of Mozilla's intake in terms of revenue is from Google. If you know, um, and it's quite interesting because going back to the exclusivity thing, that's going to end. Say if ChatGPT, right, they're coming out with a browser, that's a matter of time before they do. When they come out with that browser, they're going to want to definitely bid for exclusivity on either Apple or Samsung, etc. They're going to want that right. And that's what that allows, right? Or be part of a different distribution channel on that platform or on that device. So that's a good thing. Choice is a good thing. Google will not have to, that's actually the second bullet, will not have to present choice streams on its products or encourage its Android distribution partners to do the same. Cool. Okay. That's a win. That's a huge win. If you're Google, that's a win. Google will not be required to share granular query data with advertisers or provide them with more access to such data. So what you get is what you get. That's what it's saying there. That's just saying the keywords and looking into the black box of PMAX, etc. What you have is what you have. Google, but they're happy on this one. Google will not have to underwrite a national public education program. Google will not have to modify its policies to offer website publishers more choice in terms of search, etc. That's great. Yeah, and that's really it. So the things we can take away here are choice. Exclusivity is probably going to end. They can, all these platforms in terms of these device platforms can accept bids from other people for default. That whole 5 years locked in is going away. And I think there's a huge win here if you're a buyer, because that's what they were talking about. And I was saying that earlier, like either selling YouTube, selling Chrome. I think a lot of people are getting ready for that and doing more. Hey, we're gonna have to do more top of funnel. The bottom portion of the conversion platform will be limited. That could have really opened up a whole Pandora's box. I'll include this link to this article, and I look forward to hearing your feedback. Thank you.